You won't believe what this 22-year-old girl just survived. 72 hours, no food, no water, no sleep, clinging to a tree in the freezing rain. And what happened at hour 48 is going to leave you speechless. This is the story of Truphena Muthoni, and by the end of this video, you will understand why an entire nation stood still watching her every breath. It is on December 8th of 2025, Nyeri, Kenya. A young woman steps forward, her arms wrapped around an indigenous tree outside the governor's office. The crowd doesn't know it yet, but they are about to witness something that will break the internet, divide opinions, and redefine what the human body can endure. Her name is Truphena Muthoni. She is just 22 years old, and she is about to hug this tree for 3 days straight, without eating, without drinking, and without sleeping, and also without letting go ever once. The timer starts Monday afternoon of the December 8th. The countdown begins exactly 72 hours. But here is what nobody expected. What she would face in those 72 hours would push her past every limit, every breaking point, and every moment where her body screamed at her to stop. And wait until you hear what she did at the 48-hour mark. It's the part of this story that made grown men cry. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me take you back to where this all started, because Truphena Muthoni's journey didn't begin in December of 2025. On February 1st of 2025, Michuki Memorial Park, Nairobi, that is 9 months before the 72-hour attempt, Truphena stood in front of another tree, preparing for what seemed impossible, hugging a tree for 48 consecutive hours. The previous world record was 24 hours and 21 minutes. Truphena was about to double it. For 48 hours, she stood there, arms wrapped tight, body trembling, mind racing, no food, no water, no breaks, just her, the tree, and an entire nation watching through their screens. When she finally let go, she had shattered the record. She had had her first Guinness World Record. She was just 21 years old. Ambassador Ababu Namwamba, Kenya's permanent representative to UNEP and UNON, rushed to the scene. He looked at this young woman, exhausted but triumphant, and said something powerful. I look at Muthoni at 21 years old, and I can see an indomitable spirit, and I can see the spirit of Wangari Maathai living in her. Wangari Maathai, the Nobel Peace Prize laureate, one of Africa's greatest environmental warriors, and here was Truphena being compared to her. Truphena isn't just an environmental activist, she's a mental health survivor, someone who found healing in nature when everything else failed, someone who turned her pain into purpose and her purpose into action. Being a mental health survivor, I find solace in nature, she revealed in an interview. That is why I took this challenge to hug a tree and create awareness on this monster that is causing havoc to the younger generation and the general public. The 48-hour record put her on the map, but it wasn't enough because Truphena saw something that others didn't. The world wasn't listening closely enough. The indigenous trees were still being cut down, climate change was still accelerating, mental health was still being ignored, and young people were still suffering in silence. 72 hours, 3 full days and nights, with no food, no water, no sleep, and no bathroom breaks. Let that sink in for a moment. Your body under normal circumstances can survive 3 days without water, but that is if you are resting, staying cool, and not exerting yourself. Truphena was planning to stand, to hold, and to endure for 72 straight hours. But wait, there is more. She wasn't just planning to stand here. She was planning to face the Nyeri cold, the heavy rains, the scorching sun, and the mental warfare that comes when your body starts shutting down. So, how do you prepare for something like that? For months before the attempt, Truphena trained her body like an athlete. Like an athlete trains for Olympics, except her sport was endurance on a level most people can't imagine. She practiced fasting, sometimes going entire days on just one meal. She trained herself to stand for hours without sitting. She conditioned her bladder to go 48 hours without using the restroom. She walked for miles, building stamina. She meditated, strengthening her mind. I know it is all in the mind, she said in an interview. I have trained myself to stand for long hours, go without food, and even fast for extended periods. Now, on Monday afternoon of December 8, 2025, Nyeri Governor Mutahi Kahiga stands before a crowd gathered outside his office. Beside him, Truphena Muthoni, wearing black, green, red, and blue, each color carrying a deep meaning. Black for African power, protest and resilience. Green for reforestation, regeneration and hope. Red for indigenous resistance and frontline courage. Blue for water protectors and ocean defenders. Her outfit wasn't just fashion, it was a statement, a visual protest, a declaration of war against environmental destruction. The governor raises his hand, the crowd goes silent. Together with the Deputy Governor Nyeri Governor, we officially kick off the countdown for the incredible Truphena Muthoni, 22 years old. She is once again making Nyeri County proud as she attempts to break her own world record, moving from 48 hours of tree hugging to an ambitious 72 hours. The timer starts. Hour 1, the crowd is electric, music plays and people cheer. Truphena smiles waving at supporters. Energy is high and spirits are soaring. This is the easiest part. Hour 5, the sun begins to set, the temperature drops. Truphina's smile fades slightly. The reality is setting in, and this isn't a sprint, this is an ultra-marathon of the soul. Hour 10, night falls, the cold comes, supporters bring blankets, but she can't use them. She has to maintain contact with the tree. Portable heaters are set up around her. She shifts her position, moving around the tree, but never breaking the embrace. Hour 15, midnight. Most of the crowd has gone home. A few dedicated supporters remain, keeping vigil. Truphina's eyes are heavy, but she can't sleep. Standing up, she sways slightly, catching herself. Her body is already fighting her. At hour 20, that is 4 a.m., the coldest part of the night, Truphena is shivering. Her arms ache, her legs are cramping, mosquitoes swarm. She can't swat them away. Her arms are occupied, they bite, she endures. At hour 24, Tuesday morning, the sun rises. Truphena has made it through the first night. Governor Kahiga returns to check on her and he is amazed. Wow, that is very impressive. At hour 30, the crowd returns. More supporters arrive. Word has spread across social media and videos are going viral from TikTok, Facebook, X, everywhere you look around. Her legs are swelling from standing too long. Her arms are numb from holding the same position. Her throat is parched, dry as the desert, but she can't drink. Her stomach is eating itself, but she can't eat. At hour 36, night falls again, the second night, and this is where most people would break. This is where your body says enough. The rain starts, not a little drizzle. Heavy rain, the kind that soaks you in seconds, the kind that chills you to the core. Supporters rush forward with umbrellas, holding them over her head, but the rain is relentless. She's getting wet and she's getting cold and she can't let go. At hour 48, that is on Wednesday 12:25 p.m., the moment everyone was waiting for, Truphena has officially surpassed her previous world record. She is now in an uncharted territory. Nobody has ever hugged a tree for this long. But here is where this story takes an unexpected turn. Instead of celebrating, instead of soaking in the applause, Truphena does something that leaves everyone speechless. She reaches for a blindfold, and for the next 3 hours, she hugs the tree blindfolded. The crowd goes silent. Nobody understands what is happening. Why will she make it harder? Why will she blindfold herself at the most critical moment? And the message comes through. The blindfold segment is dedicated to persons with disabilities, to those facing climate injustice, to those who navigate this world without sight, without support, and without the privileges others take for granted. At hour 55, that is on Wednesday evening, by now the entire nation is watching. Former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua posts on social media, Truphena Muthoni, push on my daughter. I strongly encourage you in your conservation resolve to not only break your record in the Guinness World Records of hugging a tree, but also the awareness creation on environmental conservation and mental health challenges attached. Hour 60, that is Thursday morning, Truphena is hallucinating now. She sees things that aren't there. Her body is in survival mode. Every system is shutting down, non-essential functions to keep her alive. Her team of medics is on standby. Red Cross personnel are watching her vitals. If anything goes wrong, they will intervene. The crowd begins to swell. Hundreds of people are gathering. They want to witness the history. They want to be there when she crosses the finish line. And Truphena is barely conscious. Her arms are locked around the tree. Her legs are shaking and her eyes are glazed over. But she's still standing. It is not easy standing here, hugging a tree for the last 71 hours, he says to the crowd, but the message we should get is that everything is possible if we remain focused. At hour 71 and 55 minutes, that is 12:20 p.m., Thursday, 5 minutes to go, Truphena opens her eyes. She looks at the crowd. She smiles for the first time in hours. She knows she's going to make it. Hour 71 and 59 minutes, the final minute, the crowd counts down. 60, 59, 58. Truphena closes her eyes again. She presses her face against the tree bark. She whispers something nobody can hear. Her body is trembling. She takes a deep breath. At hour 72, Truphena lets go. Truphena collapses immediately. Her legs give out. Medics rush forward, catching her before she hits the ground. Red Cross personnel surround her. They check her pulse, her blood pressure, her vitals, and she's dehydrated. 72 hours of continuous tree hugging. No food, no water, no sleep. Through the cold night and heavy rains, through physical agony and mental torture. She's set a new world record. She has made history, and she has proven that the human spirit, when driven by purpose, can overcome anything. But more than that, she started a conversation across Kenya. People are talking about the indigenous trees. They're talking about mental health, and they're talking about climate change. So what can we learn from Truphena Muthoni? Maybe it's that the most powerful protests are the quietest ones. That change doesn't always come from shouting. Sometimes it comes from simply standing firm. Maybe it's that one person armed with nothing but conviction and a tree can inspire millions. Or maybe it's a simpler plan than that. Maybe we all need to find our tree, that thing worth holding on to, no matter how hard it gets, no matter how cold the night, no matter how heavy the rain. Truphena found hers on December 8th of 2025. She held on for 72 hours and she changed Kenya forever. If this story moved you, drop a comment below, share this video, and let people know that heroes don't always wear capes. Sometimes they wear black, green, red, and blue, and sometimes they just hug trees. I'll see you in the next video.